Your grandmother used to drop a sugar cube into the pot when reheating leftover stew. You thought she was losing it. Turns out she was preventing the bottom from catching, better than any non-stick pan tefal ever made. Number 18 on this list uses something you have in the bathroom cupboard right now, and it makes the crispiest roast potatoes you have ever tasted. Number 7 involves a tea bag, and professional chefs in London are charging 40 quid a plate for the result. These 30 tricks sound completely mad. Some of them look like pranks, but every single one works, and most of them cost less than £1 to try. The beauty of British home cooking was never fancy technique or expensive gadgets. It was knowing the small, strange shortcuts that made ordinary food extraordinary. Before we get into it, subscribe so you do not miss the next one, because some of these will genuinely change how you cook tonight. Let us count down the 30 oddly useful British cooking tricks that actually work. Number 30. Salt your aubergine an hour early. Before you cook aubergine, slice it, spread the slices on a board, and sprinkle both sides with fine salt. Leave them for 45 minutes to an hour. Dark brown liquid will bead up on the surface. Wipe it away with kitchen paper. That liquid carries the bitter compounds that make cheap aubergine taste harsh. But here is the real benefit nobody mentions. Salted aubergine absorbs half the oil of unsalted. The salt collapses the spongy air pockets inside the flesh, so when it hits the frying pan, it does not drink up oil like a sponge. Your moussaka stays rich, not greasy. Your baba ganoush comes out smoother. 1 teaspoon of table salt and 45 minutes of patience save you from mediocre aubergine for life. Number 29. Warm your plates before serving meals. This sounds too simple to matter, but it changes everything. Run your dinner plates under hot water for 30 seconds, or stick them in the oven at 60 degrees Celsius while you finish cooking. Food served on a warm plate stays at eating temperature for 12 to 15 minutes longer. Gravy does not congeal. Mashed potato does not form that cold skin. Your roast dinner tastes like it just came off the stove, from first bite to last. Every carvery in Britain does this, every hotel kitchen does this, yet almost nobody does it at home. It costs nothing. It takes 30 seconds, and your Sunday roast will taste like someone else cooked it. Number 28. Freeze your ginger. Freeze ginger for fluffier gratings. Fresh ginger root goes soft and hairy in the fridge within a week. But if you throw it straight into the freezer, whole and unpeeled, it lasts for months. Here is the trick. Frozen ginger grates beautifully on a fine microplane. The fibers that normally clog the grater break apart when frozen, giving you a fine, fluffy snow of ginger that melts instantly into curry, stir-fry, or even hot water with lemon. No peeling needed. The skin grates off with the flesh. A 50p knob of ginger from the supermarket now lasts you 8 weeks instead of 5 days. Your Nan might not have had a microplane, but she knew about freezing ginger because she hated waste more than she hated washing up. Number 27. Vinegar in your poaching water. When poaching eggs, add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar to the simmering water. The acid causes the egg white proteins to coagulate faster, so instead of those wispy strands floating everywhere like jellyfish, the white wraps tight around the yolk within seconds. You get a neat, compact poached egg every time. No special gadgets, no cling film, no silicone cups, just vinegar and a gentle simmer. Cafes across Britain have done this since the 1940s. The eggs do not taste of vinegar. That amount is too diluted to affect flavor. It just gives you the kind of poached egg that makes people think you trained at Le Cordon Bleu when you actually just read a tip on the internet. Number 26. Stale bread makes better toast. Fresh bread from the bakery makes terrible toast. It is too moist. The outside browns before the inside dries out, leaving you with a soggy center behind a burnt shell. Fresh loaves just do not make good toast. Bread that is a day or two old has lost just enough moisture so the heat penetrates evenly. You get golden, crunchy toast all the way through. This is why your grandmother never toasted fresh bread. She knew the loaf needed a day on the counter first. It is also why the best bacon sandwiches in Britain are made at greasy spoons using yesterday's delivery. They are not being cheap. They are being smart. Stop throwing away day-old bread. Start making better toast. Number 25. Butter your corn before boiling. Instead of boiling corn on the cob and then trying to spread cold butter on a rolling cylinder, melt a tablespoon of butter into the boiling water before you drop the corn in. The butter coats every kernel evenly as it cooks. When you pull it out, it is already buttered. No wrestling with a butter dish, no uneven patches. Add salt to the water too, seasoning from the inside. The corn comes out glistening and ready to eat. Your children will actually finish their cob instead of leaving half of it because the butter slid off. Number 24. A wooden spoon across the pot. When you are boiling pasta or potatoes and the water threatens to foam over, lay a wooden spoon across the top of the pan. The foam hits the dry wooden surface and the bubbles collapse on contact. The science is straightforward. The wood is hydrophobic enough to break surface tension in the starch bubbles. This does not work with metal spoons. Wood only. It buys you about 30 seconds of overflow protection, enough time to turn the heat down. Every Italian grandmother knows this. Every British grandmother learned it from them, or figured it out independently, because kitchens in the 1950s were too small to be mopping starchy water off the floor. Number 23. Soak your onions after cutting. If raw onion is too sharp for your salad or your burger, soak the sliced rings in ice water for 10 minutes. The cold water draws out the sulfur compounds that cause the harsh bite and the tears. The onion stays crunchy but becomes mild, almost sweet. Drain them, pat dry, and they will sit happily in a salad without overpowering everything else. Some people use a splash of vinegar in the water for a quick pickle effect. Either way, this transforms raw onion from an assault on the senses to something you actually want to eat. Fish and chip shops have been doing this to their pickled onion rings for decades. Number 22. Blooming your spices. Before you add liquid to a curry or stew, fry your dried spices in hot oil or butter for 60 seconds. Cumin, coriander, turmeric, garam masala. Give them a minute in hot fat, and they release aromatic compounds that water alone cannot unlock. The kitchen fills with that deep, warm fragrance you get walking past a proper Indian takeaway. Dumping spices straight into liquid gives you a flat, dusty flavor. Blooming gives you depth. It is the difference between a Tuesday night curry that tastes homemade and one that tastes like it came from a restaurant. This takes 1 extra minute and no extra ingredients. Every great curry house in Birmingham, Bradford, and Brick Lane does this before anything else hits the pan. Number 21. The ice cube burger trick. Press a small indent into the center of each burger patty before cooking and drop a single ice cube into the dent. As the burger cooks, the ice melts slowly, steaming the meat from the inside. The result is a burger that stays juicy even when cooked all the way through. No pink center needed, no dry, crumbly edges. The steam keeps the internal temperature even, so the meat does not seize up. This trick was supposedly invented by American diners, but it was British barbecue dads who perfected it, because British weather means your charcoal is never hot enough and your burgers always take twice as long. The ice cube compensates for imperfect heat. Number 20. Sugar in your tomato sauce, not to make it sweet. To balance the acid. When you are making a bolognese or any tomato-based sauce and the flavor is too sharp, half a teaspoon of sugar neutralizes the harshness without making it taste like pudding. Cheap tinned tomatoes are the usual culprit. They can be aggressively acidic. The sugar rounds everything out. Italian grandmothers do this. British ones learned it from watching Saturday Kitchen. But nobody talks about it because adding sugar to savory food still feels like cheating. It is not cheating, it is chemistry. And it works every single time. First pattern break. Here is something nobody expected. The humble biscuit tin. That old metal tin your Nan kept digestives in was not just sentimentality. Metal tins regulate moisture and block light better than any plastic container. Biscuits stored in a tin stay crisp for weeks, while the same biscuits in a plastic tub go soft within days. The tin also keeps out odors from the cupboard, so your rich tea biscuits do not end up tasting like cumin or garlic powder. When plastic containers took over in the 1990s, biscuit quality at home plummeted, and nobody connected the two. Your Nan was not being old-fashioned. She was being a food scientist. Number 18. Bicarbonate of soda on your roast potatoes. After you parboil your potatoes and drain them, shake them in the colander to rough up the edges, then toss them in a light dusting of bicarbonate of soda before they go into the hot fat. The alkaline surface reacts with the heat, accelerating the Maillard reaction. Put simply, your potatoes go darker, crunchier, and more golden in less time. The outside shatters when you bite through it, while the inside stays fluffy. This is the trick that turns a good roast potato into a legendary one. A box of bicarbonate costs 65 pence and lasts a year. Heston Blumenthal talked about this years ago, but your great-aunt Mavis was doing it in 1974 without knowing the science. She just knew it worked. Number 17. Anchor your chopping board. Place a damp tea towel or a sheet of damp kitchen paper under your chopping board before you start cutting. The moisture creates friction, and that stops the board sliding across the worktop. It sounds trivial until you realize a sliding board is the #1 cause of kitchen knife injuries at home. Professional kitchens drill this into every commis chef on day 1. It takes 3 seconds. It costs nothing, and it might save you a trip to A&E. Number 16. Rest your meat. After roasting a chicken, a joint of beef, or even a steak, let it sit on the board covered loosely with foil for at least 10 minutes before carving. As the meat cools slightly, the muscle fibers relax and reabsorb the juices that got pushed to the center during cooking. If you cut immediately, those juices pour out onto the board and the meat ends up dry. 10 minutes of patience gives you meat that is juicy from edge to center. Every butcher in Britain will tell you this. Very few home cooks actually do it because they are too hungry to wait. Number 15. Freeze leftover wine in ice cube trays. If you have half a glass of red or white wine left in the bottle, pour it into an ice cube tray and freeze it. Those cubes are perfect for deglazing a pan, adding depth to a casserole, or dropping into a risotto. Wine that sits in the bottle for a week turns to vinegar. Wine in the freezer keeps its flavor for months. Each cube is roughly 2 tablespoons, exactly what most recipes call for. You stop wasting wine, and you start cooking with it for free. Your shepherd's pie will never taste the same once you have deglazed the lamb mince with a frozen cube of leftover Merlot. Number 14. Steam your stale crisps. When crisps go soft and stale in the bag, spread them on a baking tray and put them in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. The heat drives out the moisture they have absorbed, and they crisp right back up. This works with tortilla chips too. Your Nan would have done this without thinking, because throwing away food, even a half-eaten bag of Walkers, was not something her generation did. Crisps cost money. 5 minutes in the oven costs nearly nothing. Problem solved. Number 13. Boil your eggs from cold water. Place your eggs in a pan and cover them with cold water. Bring the pan to the boil, then turn off the heat and leave the eggs sitting in the hot water for 10 minutes. The gentle temperature rise means fewer cracked shells and more consistent results than dropping eggs into already boiling water. The whites set evenly and the yolks stay creamy, not chalky. Peel them under cold running water while they are still warm. This is how school kitchens across Britain have made hard-boiled eggs for decades. It is foolproof, and it works whether you are doing 2 eggs or 12. Second pattern. Break the bread bin comeback. Before cling film and plastic bags took over, every British kitchen had a bread bin, usually wooden, sometimes ceramic. It was not just storage. It was climate control for your loaf. A good bread bin allows just enough air circulation to keep the crust crisp, while trapping enough moisture to stop the crumb going stale. Bread stored in a plastic bag goes soft and sweaty. Bread stored on the counter goes rock hard. Bread in a proper bin stays perfect for 3 to 4 days. Supermarkets stopped selling bread bins in the 2000s because they started selling more bread when it went stale faster. Think about that. Number 11. Lemon juice on your apples. When you slice apples for a fruit salad, a pie, or a lunchbox, squeeze a little lemon juice over the cut surfaces. The citric acid slows oxidation, the chemical reaction that turns apple flesh brown within minutes. Your apple slices stay white and appetizing for hours, instead of looking like they have been left in the sun. This also works on pears, avocados, and bananas. A single lemon costs 30 pence and treats about 4 apples. It is the simplest piece of food science in the kitchen, and it is one of the first things they teach at catering college. Number 10. A bay leaf in your flour. Drop a dried bay leaf into your bag of flour, and it keeps weevils and pantry moths away. The volatile oils in the leaf repel insects naturally, without chemicals or plastic containers. This trick appeared in Women's Institute cookbooks, going back to the 1930s. 1 bay leaf per bear. Replace it every 3 months. A pack of bay leaves costs about £1 and lasts a year. Your flour stays clean. Your cakes stay bug-free. You never have to throw away a bag of self-raising flour because something moved inside it. Number 9. The cold spoon test for jam. When you are making jam and need to know if it has reached setting point, put a teaspoon in the freezer before you start. When you think the jam is ready, drop a small blob on the cold spoon. Wait 30 seconds, then push it with your finger. If it wrinkles, it is set. If it slides, keep boiling. No thermometer needed, no guesswork. This method is more reliable than the temperature method because it accounts for the actual pectin content of your specific fruit, which varies batch to batch. Women's Institute jam competition winners have used this test for a century. It has never let them down. Number 8. Garlic bread from the toaster. Slice a baguette or a roll. Toast the slices. Then rub a raw garlic clove directly across the hot surface. The rough, crispy bread acts like a grater, shredding the garlic into the toast. Drizzle with olive oil and a pinch of flaky salt. You get perfect garlic bread in under 2 minutes, with no oven, no butter, and no foil. This is how garlic bread is actually made in Spain and Italy. The British version, with garlic butter baked in foil, was invented in the 1980s. The original is faster, lighter, and tastes better. Once you try it, you will never go back to the foil-wrapped version from the freezer aisle. Number 7. Brew a tea bag in your gravy. Drop a single black tea bag into beef or lamb gravy and let it steep for 2 minutes before removing it. The tannins in the tea add depth and color, giving the gravy a richer, more complex flavor without adding any identifiable tea taste. This is the trick pub kitchens use when the gravy looks thin and pale. The tea darkens it to that glossy mahogany color that makes you think it has been simmering for hours. Nobody can identify what you have done. They just know the gravy is incredible. 1 PG tips bag costs about 2 pence. That is the cheapest flavor upgrade in the history of British cooking. Number 6. Wet your knife before cutting sticky food. When slicing dates, dried apricots, marshmallows, or anything sticky, run your knife under water first. The thin film of water acts as a barrier between the blade and the sugar, so nothing sticks. You get clean slices instead of a mangled mess. Some bakers dip their knife in hot water before cutting brownies for the same reason. It works on fresh bread too. A wet, serrated knife slides through a warm loaf without compressing it. 0 cost. Instant results. Third pattern. Break. The kitchen window herb garden. Before supermarkets started selling sad pots of basil that die within a week, every British kitchen had herbs growing on the windowsill. Parsley, chives, mint, thyme. They cost pennies from the garden centre and lasted the entire season. A single parsley plant produced more than you could eat, enough to garnish every meal and still give cuttings to the neighbours. When supermarkets started selling cut herbs in plastic packets for £1.50 a bunch, we stopped growing them. But a 99p plant from the garden centre gives you fresh herbs for 6 months. We are paying 20 times more for worse herbs that wilt in 3 days. Your nan would be appalled. Number 4. Olive oil on your pasta water. Not in it. On it. After you drain your pasta, toss it immediately with a drizzle of olive oil to stop it sticking together. Adding oil to the boiling water does nothing, because the oil floats on top and goes down the drain. But tossing drained pasta in oil before you add the sauce keeps every strand separate and silky. If your sauce is not ready yet, this buys you 5 minutes where the pasta sits perfectly without clumping into a brick. Italian purists will tell you to just toss the pasta straight into the sauce. And they are right, but that assumes your timing is perfect. For the rest of us, a drizzle of oil is insurance. Number 3. The cold pan for bacon. Start your bacon in a cold pan. Do not preheat the pan. Lay the rashers flat, then turn the heat to medium. As the pan heats slowly, the fat renders gradually instead of seizing up. The result is bacon that is evenly crisp from edge to edge, without burnt spots or chewy raw patches. Every greasy spoon in Britain does this. They lay 30 rashers on a cold, flat top and let the heat do the work. Starting in a hot pan shocks the meat. The fat curls, and half the rasher stays floppy, while the other half turns to charcoal. Slow and cold wins every time. Number 2. Baking soda in your scrambled eggs. Add a tiny pinch of bicarbonate of soda to your beaten eggs before scrambling. The alkaline environment helps the egg proteins coagulate into fluffier, softer curds. You get scrambled eggs that look like clouds instead of rubber. Too much and you will taste it, so keep it to 1/8 of a teaspoon for 3 eggs. This was a hotel breakfast trick from the 1960s. Kitchen porters in bed and breakfasts from Blackpool to the Highlands knew this before any celebrity chef put it on television. Combine it with low heat and constant stirring, and you get the kind of scrambled eggs that make guests ask what your secret is. Now you know. The secret cost less than a penny. Number 1. Potato water for bread. When you boil potatoes, Do not pour that starchy water down the sink. Let it cool, and use it to make bread dough. The potato starch feeds the yeast, giving a faster, stronger rise. The bread comes out softer, stays fresh longer, and has a subtle sweetness that plain water cannot provide. Bakeries across Britain used potato water for centuries before commercial yeast improvers replaced it. The science is clear. Starch converts to simple sugars that yeast metabolizes more efficiently. You get a better loaf using something you were about to throw away. That is the essence of every trick on this list. The best results come not from spending more, but from wasting less. Try one this week. The bicarbonate roast potatoes, the tea bag gravy, the cold pan bacon. Just one. Come back and tell me if it worked. I already know the answer, but I want to hear you say it.